Hey guys, my name is Maz and thank you so much for joining me for this class today. So today's class is going to be focusing on balance. When I say that word in class, lots of people roll their eyes or get a little bit screwed up faces like, oh, I hate balance. And I want you to know that we all struggle with balance, okay? So I want you to take this class in your stride, do what feels right for you, and of course take any adjustments, change poses if you need to, especially if you're working with any injuries. So we're going to begin our class today in a child's pose. If child's pose just doesn't work for your body first thing in a class, then please just stay in a comfortable seated position. If it feels okay, I'm going to take the knees wide, keep the bum working down towards the heels, and let's start to reach those arms out in front as we soften the forehead towards the ground. If the ground's a bit too far away, take the hands on top of each other like fists, rest the forehead on top, and that just helps bring the ground a little bit closer to you. So just take a few moments to make sure you're comfortable here. If the bum feels like it's really raised off the heels, you could take a pillow or a blanket between the bum and the heels for extra support. You might feel like you need to sway the hips from side to side. Maybe rock the head on the mat from side to side to release any tension there. And then when you're able to, start to settle into this pose, settle into your body, and start to listen to your breath as you breathe in and out through your nose. Use your breath to help anchor you into this moment. Use the breath to bring softness into the body every time you breathe out. Maybe even bring that little bit of lift into the body every time you breathe in. So life is all about balance. This effort and rest, yin and yang, day and night, eating a balanced diet, work-life balance. The term used to describe the physical practice of yoga is hatha. Ha meaning sun, energy, heat, and tha meaning moon, softness and calm. Finding balance in our lives can lead to health and positive well-being. And I'm sure we can all think back to a time that our lives did feel out of balance in some way, or perhaps even right now we have a sense of that unbalance. In a physical sense, balancing poses promote concentration and calm. They strengthen our muscles, they build our coordination, and they improve the way we stand, the way we walk, as well as how we perform many everyday activities. Although we might not love them, they are really beneficial for us. And the three essential elements of balance are alignment, strength, and attention. Alignment of the body with gravity is crucial. It makes balance physically possible. Strength gives us the power to create, hold, and adjust our alignment, maybe to suit our bodies, to suit that moment. And attention continually monitors alignment so we know how to correct it from one moment to the next to help us maintain our balance. So today, let's really embrace balance. If we're wobbly, if we fall out, let's embrace that. Let's accept everything that arises for us in this class and enjoy moving our bodies and breathing into them. So from your child's pose, start to press into the palms, peel the body up to centre. And let's take the wrists under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. So let's take 4 rounds of cat and cow here. So soften those elbows as you breathe in, lift the chest, the tailbone, the gaze. And then let the breath out, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, push the shoulder blades away. And 3 more times like that that in time with your breath. The breath in opens the chest. The breath out opens the whole back of the body. The breath in takes us through to our cow pose. And then the breath out slowly helps us transition to our cat. Just one more round. Be curious about the body. Notice how the shoulders are feeling, the wrists are feeling. And take that final breath out. Draw that belly button up and in. Really exaggerate the round in the shoulders. And then let's come back to our neutral spine. So we're going to come into our first little balance. It's a nice gentle one. It gets the core engaged. So we're going to take the right foot behind us, flex the toes down towards the ground, and just make sure you've got a nice neutral spine here. So draw that belly button up and in. And then take your left arm forward. We're reaching through the fingertips, back through the heels, trying to maintain a nice neutral spine. Take a big breath in here. And then as you breathe out, bring the knee and the elbow together in the centre of the body, rounding. So a bit like our cat and our cow. The breath in reaches us forward, neutral spine. Breath out draws us in, curls us in. Last one, breath in, find length, reach through fingertips and heel. Breath out, draw it in, maybe linger for a moment. And then mindfully release hands, foot, knee down. Have a little wiggle if you need to. Come off the wrists for a moment if you need to. And then we'll set up for the second side. So this time it's the left foot that comes back behind us. Point those toes to the floor. Push through the heel and draw that belly button up and in. And then let's take the right arm forward. Again, take some time to find that length as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, draw the knee and the elbow into centre. Really round through the shoulders. 2 more times. Breathe it in, reach it long. Breathe it out, draw it in. Maybe knee even comes towards forehead. Last time, reaches you long. Breathing out, draw everything in tight. And then mindfully release hands, knees, wiggle it out. Lovely. So we're going to add on to that and we're going to make this balance slightly more challenging. So make sure you're back into your tabletop. We're going to take our right foot back behind us just like we did before. Find that neutral spine. And let's see now if we can take our right hand forward as well. So it's right leg, right hand, a little bit harder to find the balance on the same side of the body. If you're falling out, it's okay, just have a go, have a play. If you've got this, we're going to start to reach that arm up, open the chest to the side, flex the toes to the side, and find this beautiful lifted, almost side plank variation. Lift that leg as high as you can. Feel the glutes start to fire up. Take a big breath in. Stay here, or as you breathe out, bring the knee and the elbow to meet in the centre of the body. Curl it in. Ooh, I'm wobbling too. Breathe it in, reach that leg high, reach the fingertips high, flex those toes. Breathe it out, draw it in, knee and elbow. Good, guys. Last one lifts us back up again. Ooh, I'm wobbling everywhere. Engage those glutes. And then gently drop that foot down to the floor. Push into the side edge of the foot and take this arm up and over the ear for a beautiful side body stretch. Really open the chest to the side of the room. Find that length all the way from fingertips all the way down to the heel. Beautiful. Now push into that foot. Use this top arm to give you a bit of momentum, and we're going to lift all the way up as this hand lowers down the leg and this arm comes up and over the ear. Gate pose. Take a few breaths here. Another side body stretch. Perhaps a little bit less intense, more intense. You notice how it feels in your body. Beautiful. And let's come back out the way we came in. So first we come down, Maybe lift that leg one last time if you want to fire up those glutes again. And then release and come through to your tabletop. Oh, wiggle that out, guys. You guys stay where you are. I'm turning around so you can see me again on the second side. And the good news is we've got to do all of that again on the other side of our bodies. So make sure the wrists are under the shoulders, the knees are under the hips. We get a second round. So we're going to take the left foot back behind us, set up, and then start to think about lifting the left arm. You might find the hip opens a bit more, that's absolutely fine. And if you're wobbling, it's okay, embrace that wobble, it's part of the play. If you can, we're going to take this arm all the way up, we're going to open the chest to the side of the room, and we're going to flex those toes to the side as well. And you can breathe here, hold here if you wish, or on your next breath out, we bring the knee and the elbow into the centre, we curl in. Breathe in, take it high, stretch it long. Breathe out, draw it in, curl it in. Good, guys. I've fallen out here. Take that foot back up with you just one more time. And then drop the foot slowly down to the ground and reach this arm up and over the ear for your side body stretch. The more you push into the side edge of the foot, the more of a stretch you might be able to feel here. Good. Breathe it through. And then we're going to really push into that foot now. Use your top arm for a bit of momentum to lift the body all the way upright. And then take that side bend over to the opposite side. So I find this variation a little bit more difficult, a bit more challenging. Ask a little bit more of the side of my body. So work really hard to keep length there. Good, keep breathing. And let's come back out the same way. Slowly, mindfully, release that hand down, lift the top arm up. Option for that last little bit of work for those glutes, flex those toes. And then release and make your way round to tabletop. Lovely. Wiggle that out, guys. Good. All right, we're going to take a little vinyasa now just to bring a bit of heat into the body before we come up to standing. So, from tabletop, draw belly button up and in. Bring the chest forward, hug the elbows in, and lower all the way down to the ground. Zip feet and thighs together. Lift that chest, maybe even hover the toes off the floor for your baby cobra. Really building the muscles in the back of the body. Sinking that chest. We're just pushing back up to tabletop for now. Good. Okay, so we're going to come into a little squat position from here. So we're going to sit up onto our tippy toes, bring the knees towards each other and take a little balance. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see what I'm doing. So if this is quite a challenging balance, you're going to keep the fingertips on the ground. If you'd like to take it a little bit harder, release the fingertips off the floor and lift the chest. Option to stay here or take a big breath in and reach those arms out to the side, bring the palms together. Breathe out, sink it through the centre of the chest. Start to feel the thighs firing up, the core firing up. One more round, take those arms all the way up with you. Beautiful breath in. Bring the hands to the heart, big breath out. Great little balance, guys. So from here, bring the fingertips down and slowly start to lift up until you find yourself in a little forward fold. For our first one, deeply bend the knees, bring the belly onto the thighs. Option to grab opposite elbows. Let the head be heavy and maybe even sway a little bit from side to side. So we're just bringing a bit of space into the back of the body, the hamstrings, taking a few breaths. Good, and then slide those hands up onto the shins, up onto the thighs. Lift that chest, find your beautiful flat back. And then sink it down to the ground. Let's step it back to plank. One foot, next foot. And we're going to hold our plank just for a moment. Draw that belly button up and in, lift that chest, push the mat away from you. And drop those knees. Big breath in. Breath out, hug the elbows into the body. Keep that nice long line. Breath in, you can take baby cobra again, or we're going to lift up to our full cobra. So we're trying to keep the neck neutral, a micro bend in the elbows, the chest is broad. And then we're going to tuck our toes, take our hips up and back, and come up to our first downward facing dog. And as always, as it's the first one, make it yours, guys. You might need to bend the knees, wiggle the hips. Just make it yours. Maybe a nod of the head, yes, a shake of the head, no. It might feel nice to lift all the way up onto tippy toes and then sink it all the way back down to heels. If you're doing that, let's do it again. Breathe in, lift up onto tiptoes. Breathe out, sinks you all the way back down. And then looking up to the hands, you could step, walk or jump to the top, back into your fold. Good. Sliding the hands up onto the shins, up onto the thighs, lift the chest, find that beautiful flat back again, making sure the knees aren't locked out. Sink it down. Engage those thighs, take the arms all the way up and over the head if there's space, if not through the centre of the body. And then sink the hands to heart centre as you breathe out. Beautiful work, guys. Okay, so we're starting to set up for our standing balances now. We'll start with a nice gentle one just to bring some space into the hips before we take a few more challenging ones today. So for the first balance, I want you to bring, stand into Tadasana first, your mountain pose. Then I want us to bring the right knee up into the chest. Good. Now your standing leg should be strong and supportive, but again, we're trying not to lock out that knee. Draw the knee, opposite knee, the right knee into your chest and lift that chest high. Let's wriggle out the toes, ankle, heel. Beautiful. And then we'll take this into a nice gentle twist. So left hand comes on the outside of the right knee, and then can you reach the right arm back behind you? Keep the strength in the legs, and the gaze could stay forward, or you might take it back behind you towards the hand if you want more of a challenge. Good, so we're just building a bit of muscle in that standing leg. Good. Next breath turns you back to centre. All right, we're now going to take some hip circles. So just going to start to open that knee, and I'm just going to turn to show you, out to the side. Just starting to find what space we have on that inner thigh. Good. And maybe take those same hip circles in the opposite direction, holding on to a wall if you need to here. Bringing movement into a balance can be quite challenging. Lovely. And then pause. Wiggle that out. We'll just go straight into the second side because we're just warming up. So bring the left knee into the chest, hug it in. Draw belly button up and in so the spine is long, we're not hunching in the shoulders. Really root down into your standing leg. Right arm on the outside of left knee, left arm peels back, open that chest, find that space in the body. And then mindfully, slowly, turn it back to centre. Keeping that foot lifted, let's start to open out the knee into those circles. And then pausing, taking the circles in the opposite direction. Good. And then come back to centre. Lovely. All right, so all that hip opening was to prepare us for our first pose, our tree. Tree is a very typical yogi balance. If you look at all sort of yoga adverts, postcards, there's always that yogi in tree. So let's start together. Find mountain. And then we're going to take our right leg and decide. The right heel might just stay nice and low, and you might take this as your tree. You might take that right foot slightly higher up the leg, avoiding the kneecap if you can, or you might take it all the way up to your high tree, right up on the inner thigh. We're then going to open that knee out to the side, keep drawing that belly button up and in, and bring the palms to heart centre. Imagine you're drawing energy up through your standing leg, but you're also rooting it down into it. So you've got that beautiful push and pull, that balance. And some of you are going to stay here, working on alignment, stability. Some of you might breathe in, take the arms up and over the head with you. Some of you might stay here, or we might breathe out and cactus the arms. So lead with your chest, shining that heart forward, maintaining stability in the standing leg, keeping that nice openness in the hip, in the thigh. One more breath there. If you're with me in the cactus arms, take them back up. Any movement challenges a balance. If palms are together, then bring them at the heart. Good. Now, extra challenge. Mindfully release the foot from the leg and reach it out in front of you as high as you can. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. Keep it lifted for 3. Keep engaging the muscles in that thigh for 2. Maybe smile for 1. Oh, let that foot come down. Wiggle it out. Good work. Okay, second side, getting ready, and then we'll iron it all out with a vinyasa. So we're going to root down into the right leg, and it's the left leg that makes that same journey. Aim for balance on both sides if you can. So if you were here, stay here. If you were higher up, take it there. If you were all the way up, take it there. Unless there's a medical issue or something in the way that prevents that. And then let's take the hands to heart center. Again, we're opening that knee out to the side, getting that lovely openness on the inner thigh. Draw belly button up and in. Option to stay here. If you want to, you can take the arms up and over the head on a breath in. And to add on, if you wish, as you breathe out, you can cactus the arms and lead with your chest. Keep breathing. Feel all the muscles in your supporting leg firing up. Maybe you can even feel that in your feet. If you do fall out, it's okay, but don't rush back in. Take it slow. Breathe it out. And then if you're here, bring the palms back together overhead. If the palms are together overhead, bring it through the centre of the body. Are we ready for that challenge? Bring the knee into the centre, flex those toes, reach the foot as high as you can for 3. Challenge your body for 2. Maybe smile for 1. Oh, let that go, wiggle that out. Good work, guys. So, just in case the ego kicked in, any negativity came in, let's wash it out with a beautiful vinyasa. Come to the top of your mats. Take a beautiful big breath in, reach those arms tall. Breathe it out, hinge from your hips, come down into your fold. Slide the hands up onto the shins, up onto the thighs, find your beautiful flat back. Let the hands sink down to the ground, step it back to plank. Breathe it in your plank. Either drop the knees or come down through your full plank as you breathe out. Zip feet and thighs together. Lift that chest for your cobra. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. And then tuck the toes. Take those hips up and back for downward facing dog. Big breath in your dog. Breath out, sink the chest back towards the thighs. Take another breath in. Let it go, breath out. Looking up to the hands, stepping, walking, or maybe jumping to the top of your mat. And then take the arms wide, beautiful big breath in. And bring the hands to the heart, breath out. Whew. Okay guys, good work. Hopefully feeling energized. So the next balance we're coming into is our warrior 3. Alright, it's a beautiful strong balance and we'll get into it together. You need to use a wall to support you in your warrior 3. You're more than welcome to do that, guys. Use props if you need to. Okay, so we're going to take our feet about hip width distance apart. I just want you to lift the right foot off the floor slightly. Notice how that's giving a little bit of a lift into the hip. It's asking a little bit of work into the thigh. Now we're going to bring the hands to the heart. I'm just going to step back a little bit. We're now going to hinge from the hips as we take that foot back behind us. And we're going to try and bring belly parallel with floor. Now, a few things to think about here. To try and get our foot to lift really high, often we open the hip out to the side. I want you to draw that hip down, that thigh down, the toes down. Power up your standing leg, draw belly button up and in, and hold your warrior 3. Option here to take the arms by the side of the body and lead with the chest. If you really want to challenge the body, take the arms up by the ears and reach forward. Keep breathing. You've got this, guys. Challenge your body. Lift that back foot even higher if you can, as long as the hip isn't opening. And then start to lift back up. Bring the foot down with you. Soften those hands. Oh, wriggle that out. Good work, guys. Notice if the ego is coming into play. And we'll take warrior 3 on the second side. So we're just holding our balances. Not doing anything particularly fancy with them today. Just enjoying the feeling of balance in the body. So, let's go. Stability in the right leg. Strength in the right leg. And let's lift the left foot slowly away from the ground. Think about that hinge from the hips again as you take the foot slowly back behind you. Can you draw the hip down, the thigh towards the ground? Strengthen your standing leg, not locking out that knee. And then bring the hands to the heart. Feel like your chest is pushing into the thumbs, the belly button's drawing up and in, and breathe. Again, option to take hands here. If there's not a door in your way, option to reach the fingertips forward. Stay in the variation that works for your body and keep breathing. I know how easy it can be to hold the breath or to start the breath to start to feel laboured. Try and keep those long, beautiful, deep breaths. And then slowly lift back, up. Oh, shake that out. And you know what we're going to do. We're going to take a vinyasa to let go of any stress or tension that might have bubbled in your balance. So breathe it in. Take those arms up high. I want you to sigh it out. Breathe out and into your fold. Hands slide up, shins onto thighs. Lift that chest. Find that flat back. Sink the hands down. Let's step it back to plank. Option to take half plank here. So you either drop the knees, take full plank, or draw that belly button up and in as you come forward. Bend the elbows just halfway. Keep the knees off the floor as you lift up to upward facing dog. Much stronger back bend. And then tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. If that didn't make sense to you, don't worry. Take the vinyasa that works for you. Let's hold our dog for a moment. Breathe in. Feel like I'm lifting your hips up and back. And breathe out as the heels sink towards the ground. Gaze is back towards knees or towards thighs. Look up to the hands, bend into the knees, stepping, walking, or maybe hopping to the top of your mat. Take the arms wide, big breath in, reach the arms up and over the head. Oh, draw the hands to the heart as we breathe out. Take a moment here, settling in. So we're going to come into our peak balance now. Our peak balance is going to be our half moon pose. We'll get there together. We're going to get there through a little bit of a vinyasa. So breathe in, reach the arms high. Breathe out, sink it all the way down into your fold. Hands slide up onto thighs, up onto shins, lift that chest. Sink hands down, step it back to plank. Breathe in your plank, push that mat away, strong arms. And then take the hips straight back up to downward facing dog. Lovely, guys. Okay, from our downward facing dog, we're going to lift the right leg up and back behind us to our three-legged dog. And this in itself is a balance, a pose that we do so often in our vinyasas, but this is a balance. So embrace that feeling, feel the strength in the arms, and then use that strength to step that right foot all the way through to the top of your mats. We're coming into high lunge. So push into that back heel, engage the thighs. Big breath in, lift up to your high lunge. Big breath out, sink into those legs. Good, guys. Take one more breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to drop, do a little shuffle in the feet and come through to our warrior 2. So warrior 2 is a really important pose to come into before our half moon. It's taking the hips into the right position. And we've already worked the hips in our tree pose. We worked a little bit when we came into our half plank on the ground. So just take a moment in your warrior 2. Feel the front knee aiming over the middle toe. Feel the belly button drawing up and in, pushing into the side edge of your back foot. Now, staying in your warriors while I explain, if you've got a block or a brick or a book or a box that you can use underneath your hand that's coming down to the floor, I would highly recommend it. I'm going to teach without it because I know not everyone has something like this at home, but if you can, it's going to help give you height. Alright guys, but if you don't worry, you can still get into this pose. So, from warrior 2, we're going to lean forward. Our left arm's going to come onto our lower back. Our right fingertips are coming down towards the floor. So you don't want the fingertips right in line with the toes. You want to open them out towards the right of the toes. And that's going to help our shoulder align with our hand. We're going to hop the back foot in slightly. And we're going to start to lift our back foot off the floor. Take time here. Even if you know half moon, there's no rush. Check your supporting leg is strong. Check this hip is opening, so it's a little bit different to our warrior 2. Warrior 3 even. So that's level 1. Level 2, we're then going to start to open that hip as much as we can to the side. Open the chest as much as we can to the side and stay here. Level 3, we're going to take that arm all the way up towards the ceiling as we find our full half moon. There's a lift in the chest. We don't want to cave down here because we're going to fall towards the ground. We want that lift. Feel like you're drawing energy up from your mat. Hold here. Those of you that really want to add on, you can bend your top knee, grab onto the foot if you can find it, and take your sugar cane pose. But again, keep the openness in that chest. Keep the openness in the hips. One more breath. And then if you've got the foot, release. Now, really challenging. Can you step the back foot behind you and lift back up? Woo, to warrior 2. Hold for a moment. Embrace your body. Thank it for what it has done. Thank it if it struggled. Know it's got another chance to have a go. And then bring the hands all the way around the front foot. Come onto the back toes. Step it to downward facing dog. Oh. Wiggle that out, guys. The body might feel strange in your down dog because you've just worked one side really deeply. Half moon asks a real lot of the hips to show them kindness. If you know you're tight there, of course that's going to affect your posture and your balance. So let's lift the left leg up and back. Find your balance in your three-legged dog. Push the chest back towards the thighs. Keep the shoulders facing the top of the mat. And then bring that foot all the way through with you to your high, ready for your high lunge. And of course, if the foot doesn't get there, give it a hand. Engage the glutes, thighs, power up. Big breath in, high lunge. Big breath out, sink into those legs. One more big breath in your lunge. Breath out, the feet are going to shuffle as we find our warrior 2. So again, let's check the front knee is over the middle toe. We're pushing into the side edge of that foot. We're spending time here. Now I'm going to show you the same pose with a block for those of you that are propping up and want to know how to use it. But like I say, don't worry if you haven't got that, you can do what you did on the other side. So if you're taking a block, take it to the left of your left foot and you can do high, middle, low height, choose. Alright guys? So, warrior 2. Let's start to lean forward And take that hand to ground on fingertips or block. And remember, you can come higher if you need to. We're then going to take right arm onto the lower back. Just hop that back foot in because that's really going to help with our lift. And then take the foot off the floor. Good. Notice if you've got a block, that lifts the body a little bit more so you're not dumping down, all right? I'm even on fingertips on my block to help me with that. So level 1 is just here. Straighten that standing leg. Level 2 is to open the hip, open the chest, and then level 3 is to take it up with you. Now your gaze can look ahead if it's okay for the neck. If that doesn't feel good, you could look down, but be careful because that might make the chest dip and drop here. Those of you that took it on the other side might want to bend the foot, bend the knee even, grab onto the foot, and find your bind. But again, keep the chest lifted. Breathe. If this grabbing the foot ruins the lift of the chest or the opening of the hips, come out. This is just a silly add-on, you don't have to take it. Draw that energy, breathe through it. Then release that foot. Take the arm up high. And mindfully, if you can, step it down. Warrior 2. Breathe. Notice how the body feels. Bring the hands round the front foot. Step it back to downward facing dog. Now notice how your dog feels. It might feel a little bit better now you've worked both sides. And we're going to take our last vinyasa of our class from here. So let's ripple forward to our plank. Option to drop the knees to take full plank or take your half plank. Squeeze the elbows in, lift up to your baby cobra, high cobra, or maybe your upward facing dog. Tuck toes, lift hips, downward facing dog. Looking up to the hands, stepping, walking, maybe jumping. And this time, come back into that little tiptoe squat you were in before. Option to keep the fingertips down, option to reach them high for your last little balance or your standing balance. And then help yourselves come down onto bum. Good work, guys. All right, so we do have a couple more balances still to go. All right, but these ones are slightly different. So the first balance we're going to come into is boat. People don't really see boat as a balance, but you're balancing on your bum bones. There's a lot of balancing going on in boat. So, bring the feet out in front of you. Find the bony bits of your bum. Remove any of the fleshier bits out the way if they're in the way. I'm going to take the hands onto the back of the thighs. So we're going to have to make sure the core is switched on here. You'll know if it's not because you get this round in the shoulders. So draw that midline up and in. Draw the chest towards the thighs. Start to lean back slightly. Now option 1, if boat is too strong for you today, is to stay on the toes because you're still working your core the more you lift your chest. Option 2, we're going to lift both feet off the floor and let the shins parallel with the ceiling, but don't lose this lift. Option 3, to reach the arms out in front. Keep drawing chest towards thighs, thighs towards chest. And if you really want to, option 4, you could have a go at straightening the legs. I'm not so good at that. Or you might even take the arms up by the ears, or both. Breathe in whatever variation you are in, but don't stop lifting the chest to the thighs to the chest. You might even feel a little bit of a wobble in the body. I certainly do here. Hold for as long as you can. Embrace this lovely little balance. Drop the feet. Let the knees open wide and have a little moment here. Good work, guys. I remember the first time I did boat in a class, I was just blown away that you could straighten your legs in it. I still find that a struggle now. I'm going to take one more boat because it is a balancing class. Option to just repeat anything you just did, or we're going to have a little go at grabbing the toes here, all right? So I would say shuffle towards the top of your mat if you're taking this option, because there's a high chance you might fall back, or you might fall back on purpose, you'll see. So take your first two fingers around your big toes. And the first little balance we could come into is just lifting the feet off the floor, lifting the chest towards the thighs. It's a beautiful little balance. Feel free to stay. If you wish, we're going to start to straighten the legs, and by straighten it could be that the knees stay bent and the shins stay parallel, or you could start to straighten them a little bit more here. The grab of the toes can help with that. But again, we're not rounded here. We're lifted in the chest. Now those of you that want to stay here do. If you want to join me for a play, I'm just hoping I've left myself enough room. You breathe in where you are, and as you breathe out, you're going to rock back. You're going to let the toes come down towards the floor, then don't let go of them. Lift back up and find your balance. Yeah, there we go. Try a few more times, just because it's fun. If not, just hold your balance and be playful here. You're using that momentum. You're using the core to find your balance at the top. Just one more round, take it back. Make this your best one yet, guys. Fire it up. Hold that balance. And let go. And again, take the knees wide for a moment. Just relax. All right, guys. Really, really nice. So we're going to end with quite a strong arm balance, all right? And if it's new to you, have fun with it. Have a play. It's called baby grasshopper pose. Again, one of the first arm balances I learned, I saw someone do it and thought, wow, I want to do that. All right, and you might have to stop at different levels again, but play. Have a sense of play. So, left leg's out in front. My right foot is crossing over, as if I'm coming into a twist. So we need a bit of flexibility here. This right arm is going to reach in front of my right shin and reach over for my left toes. Left arm is staying on the floor to support me. Now, before we rush, I just want you to have a go lifting the foot off the floor. That is already a balance, okay? And that might be as far as you go today. Now keep the foot down, but just have a go at just lifting the bum off the floor a few times. And that might be as far as you go today. I'm sure you can imagine where we're going next. We're going to try and lift the foot and the bum off the floor at the same time. So the hands coming onto the floor for support. I'm pushing into this leg. Pushing into this foot is what's really going to help lift me up. So I'm going to lift up. Lift bum off the floor, foot off the floor. If you're here, stay. Or bend the elbow and hover the chest just above the floor. Hold for as long as you can. Embrace your inner grasshopper. And then let that go. Nice work, guys. And if you only got to one level, it's okay. If you can't grab onto the foot, when we try the next side, you could grab onto your leg, your leggings if you're wearing leggings, or if you've got a yoga strap, grab a strap around the foot, or if you haven't got a strap, a hair bubble also works. You ready for the other side? I promise we're going to start to slow down in a minute. So, right foot out in front, left foot crosses over. Don't rush, take it slow. So, this left leg is crossed over. The left hand is reaching in front of the shin, reaching to grab onto the foot, or shin, or thigh, or wherever you land, make it yours. And let this hand come down for support. Really push into this supporting foot. Just start by lifting a leg off the floor. I think that looks pretty funky as it is. Maybe have a go at lifting the bum off the floor a few times. Nice. And now, are you ready? Full grasshopper, or baby grasshopper I should say, if you can. So this hand pushes down, your weight is really going to push into this supporting foot. And just have a go at lifting the bum off the floor. If you can, feel free to stay. Or you're going to bend into the elbow, look towards the toes, hover the chest off the floor. Breathe. Let it go. Good work, guys. And remember, does it matter if you can get into any of these poses? No. Is it about the journey on the way? 100%. The things we learn about our bodies, our breath, whether we take ourselves too seriously, where we can have a sense of play, it's all part of the journey of yoga. Okay, let's start to slow things down. Bring the soles of the feet together. Grab onto toes, maybe ankles, and just take a lift in the chest as you breathe in. And you can stay lifted, or it might feel nice to take a little fold, hinging from the hips as you breathe out. Just taking a few breaths there, softening into the head, letting the neck grow long. If any negative thoughts did bubble up for you during that class, let them go. Thank them for their concern and then ask them to leave. And then gently taking one hand onto each knee, help the knees come back. So we're just going to take a little stretch that's going to open the glutes a little bit here. So we're going to take our right knee even and cross it over the left, okay? So this foot stays flexed. Now what you're going to do here, if you've got more space, you can bring the foot and the bum closer together, and that's going to really, really encourage this stretch. And then we're going to open that knee, so the right knee opens away from the body as you bring the belly and the thighs closer together. Keep that foot flexed, and you should start to feel that in the glute in the thigh. And that's a nice way of releasing all the work we've done in our legs today. If it doesn't feel good to take it like this, you can actually lie down and take figure 4 this way. Alright guys, just trying to vary it a little bit so you know you can take these stretches in different ways. So just a few breaths here, making sure you're not sort of putting too much pressure in the shoulders. Let the shoulders be soft. And then you might have to step the foot away to release it. Just sway the hips from side to side first for a few moments. Bring a bit of space back into those hips because they have also worked hard today. And then let's take the opposite side. So opposite foot crosses over. Maybe the bum and the heel get closer together, maybe they don't. And then work that knee away as you draw the thigh of the foot that's on the floor closer to your body. Notice if you're doing what I'm doing, is sort of dumping into the shoulders. Make sure the shoulders are soft, the chest is lifted. It's a sign that you're tired. Remember, you can take this lying on the floor if you wish. Lovely. And then mindfully release. Maybe step the foot away first. Good. Let's come to lie down. We're going to take our happy baby. If you're not sure what that is, you can stay up and just watch where I go. Otherwise, come down with me. So we're going to reach the feet up towards the ceiling. We're going to grab on the outside or inside of the feet, and then draw the knees down towards the armpits. Now, if you find yourself sort of up here, or you're lifting the shoulders and the head off the floor, it means you're just forcing the body and you don't need to do that. It might mean that you need to grab a little bit lower on the legs. It might mean that you need to root your tailbone towards the ground. There is a lift of the tailbone, but if you root it down, it means most of the back stays connected to the ground. A little tuck of the chins can bring length in the neck. And just take a few breaths here. Some people like to sway from side to side in their happy baby. That makes balance a bit more challenging, but hey, this class is all about balance. Some people like to bend one knee and then lift the other foot high, and then the straight leg's getting a nice stretch into the hamstrings. And then you can do that in the other leg as well. And just take a few more breaths in your variation of happy baby. And then bring the heels together, keeping hold of the feet or the ankles or wherever you're grabbed, and just take a rock from side to side. This is like a supine butterfly pose, a bit like the one we just took seated. The little sway from side to side can help release the lower back. Beautiful. And then mindfully release those legs. If you need to take any other poses, guys, before you're able to relax, then take them now. Maybe you need more space in the hips. Maybe you need to reach up, release the hands, the wrists, the feet. Do what you need to do. And then start to set up for your pose of relaxation. If it feels okay for the body, take the feet wide and long down the mat. If that doesn't feel good, you can bend the knees, let them knock into each other. That can be really nice for the back. Take time to shuffle the shoulders away from your ears. Take time to let the body completely soften into your mat. And if it feels okay, close the eyes. Let's take a nice big breath in together. And either through the nose or through the mouth, let it go. Let's do that again, big breath in. Through nose or through mouth, let it go. And then let the breath return to its natural pace. Take a moment now to reflect on your practice. Balances are known for bringing up negative thoughts or strong feelings and emotions. Notice if any of that came up for you. Maybe the emotions and feelings you felt were pride or happiness, that you held a balance that you never held before. Maybe there was some frustration that you couldn't hold some balances. Just be with those emotions, those feelings. Don't judge them. Don't criticize them. Just stay with them. And then let go of those thoughts. Let them drift away with your next breath out. Enjoying a few moments now, just being. Just finding stillness and softness within the body. If you wish to hold your Shavasana a little bit longer, pause this video now and stay as long as feels good for your body. If you are ready to bring this session to a close, start to deepen your breath. Bring some gentle movement back into your fingers and your toes, wrist, ankles, maybe even swaying the hair from side to side. And Your next breath in, take the arms up and over the head, reach down through the toes, really find length through the sides of the body. Maybe even swaying the hips gently from side to side if they're still holding on to tension. And then on your next breath out, scoop the knees back into the chest and give your body a hug. You might rock from side to side, maybe you stay in stillness here. And then decide how you're going to make your way back to a comfortable seated position. You might lie onto one hand side, take a few breaths there. You might take a beautiful rock and roll up to the top of your mat. But do so mindfully. And then when you arrive at the top, take a few moments here. Take a few moments to thank yourself for dedicating time to your body, to your mind, to your breath. And just take a moment to maybe reflect. Where could you find more balance in your life? Leaving palms in the lap or maybe taking them to the heart center, take a breath in. And through the nose or through the mouth, let that go. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today.